Let's go back with my guests Chris Sharkey and Sheila Sutton on the look back at the 2016 Wineglass Marathon.
Here we are, zipping along the course into Painted Post. There we are in victory. As I mentioned earlier, we're approaching the water station or just past the water station that the Prefolk kids man. They're putting in a Dunkin' Donuts right here. Again, another always road construction, building project, something along the courses. We drive the course throughout the year and keep an eye on all aspects of that, particularly leading up closer to the race. But you can see right through there just some of the cones that are needed in use. There's the Dunkin' Donuts right there.
Oh, great drone shot.
It's part of life moving forward.
There's Bobby
Always.
Asher.
Bobby
he came in fourth.
He came in fourth, yeah.
Well, that looks like a long stretch of running. Yeah, from that angle, doesn't it?
It does. This is a good stretch. This is a good and right there is the exit 43 that we closed this year. It was so nobody was driving into the way of the runners.
Of course, Belly Drews.
Still looking strong.
At the end of this stretch, they actually go past the Corning Painted Post Middle School, and then they have a little downhill into Craig Park. Painted Post Fire Department helps them get across that out of Craig Park and onto the bike path, because there's a lot of traffic down there around Charles Street. And then they're on the bike path for just over a mile. So that's what they have to look forward to next.
Jeffrey Cavallero. It must be, while you're racing, an amazing experience, just the view that you have. Think of how much they've traveled from the beginning to the end. It's beautiful. You're crossing rivers. You're seeing the hills. It must be really nice.
Here they are coming out of the bike path. The feedback on our course is that it's very scenic. It's pretty. The views are nice. You run in the city for a big city marathon, and you see one tall building, you see another tall building.
Right.
The change in scenery and communities and along our course gives the runners something different to look at and focus on, and helps them pass the miles away.
These views give us a pretty good sense of pride, because this is the bike path, as I said before, and it was widened as a project in conjunction with the villages of Painted Post and Riverside and some state funding. But we were also pleased as a Wineglass organization to be able to put $70,000 towards that project, so that our runners had a lot more room on the bike path. But the other huge benefit is, everyone else uses it all year long, and you can now get, strollers. A stroller and a bicycle can be on the bike path at the same time without having somebody have to go off into the grass. And the runners gave us feedback last year and this year that they really love having that extra room there, because now they're coming down. This is what, Sheila, mile?
We're closing in on, they're around mile 22.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch for them.
It is, and these lead runners, as you watch, Bailey was there a few minutes ago, is still looking pretty strong. They're coming up on some of the tail end of the half marathon.
That's Ben Fiedner.
The half marathoners have the same amount of time as the full marathoners due to the course. A lot of them you'll see will walk the entire full marathon, or the half marathon.
Well, and our footage here is following some of the leaders of the full. Obviously, there are an awful lot of people in the full who, do a run-walk combination. Not everyone in the full marathon is
sprinting,
moving quite like these guys.
Jeff Galloway actually developed a process which is a run-walk process, and has you maybe running for 5 minutes, walking for a minute. And a lot of runners get through doing a marathon by following that process. It's very regimented.
What I like through this stretch is to see the people with their signs and cheering them on, because this must be, like you said, a very difficult part in the race.
It is, and the bike path can be a little lonely if nobody's out there. They've hit that wall point of past mile 20, and
Yeah, we sometimes have some medical issues that happen on the bike path, and that's where our fire department friends have stepped up, and they put ATVs with stretchers out there. So if we have to get to somebody, we've got pretty quick access. I don't think we had anybody we lost on the bike path this year, but
No.
but it is for those that are familiar with that part of town, getting there by car is, you have to wind all over the place.
Right.
So
When do people start signing up for the race, or when do you have registration begin?
registration will open December 1st of 2016, and need to do it register
right?
early. We sold out again last year for the 2016 event by April. We had a nice, robust wait list for the half marathon of 1,000 runners, and then about over 400 for the full marathon that we were able to clear when all the deferrals occurred and we had open slots.
Now, if someone isn't a walker or a runner, but they want to be a part of it, how should they look into helping or volunteering?
You can look at our website. We have a great volunteer section, and it tells you how to get involved. It's a great way. You can email us at info@wineglassmarathon.com. And there's lots of opportunities all year long. We're always looking for dedicated captains that may be interested in actually heading up an area on down to folks helping at a water station or handing out medals and food at the finish line.
And some roles are require some pretty physical work, but we have lots of roles that are, handing out information, handing out bibs, being helpful and that sort of thing. So we've got something for everyone. Don't go out to our website and sign up now for next year. We're not quite ready for you, but we will be.
23.5 miles in. This is Cutler Creek Bridge in Riverside.
And there's Bailey again. She's by herself, looking strong.
You wouldn't know she was 23.5 miles in.
You look at her and she doesn't look like she's putting forth much effort.
Mm-mm.
We're through Riverside and headed to the finish line. Here we are.
Just coming onto Market Street.
Mile 26, that final stretch. The runners turn the corner from Bridge Street onto Market Street, and it's really reminiscent of how Boston is set up when the runners, and you can see off in the distance the finish line, and it's within your sight, it's within your grasp, and it's an overwhelming feeling for most of them.
Yeah, we used to have a big inflatable finish line arch, and we'd sort of had enough of that. And when we put the street banner across last year, we realized as soon as you turn the corner, you can see finish, no matter how many leaves are on the trees. And we said, that's the important thing. Mm-hmm. We want runners to see, yep, there it is. I got this.
And they love that. They really love that banner across the street. They take pictures before the race with it. They take pictures after the race. It's become a fixture on Market Street now.
There's Adam Gutnick.
Still a pretty good crowd. As they approach the finish line, once we have the first runners for the marathon, we separate the course with mums and drive the full marathoners to one side and the half marathoners to the other to allow them space to finish and not mix up the full and half together at that point.
And I know throughout our discussion here today, we've mentioned a few of the sponsors, but I'm sure it's very important because without them, it wouldn't be possible. If you'd want to mention some more of the sponsors.
Yeah, so Arnott Health has been with us how many years now, Sheila?
4 years, I think.
4 or 5 as the presenting sponsor for the full marathon. And they really expanded their level of support for us this year by providing medical staff for all of our on-course medical tents. We have 5 of them on the course, and so they were staffed with ARNA doctors, nurses, residents, which really is huge. And then at the finish line, they also have their PT staff providing, stretching and massages for runners afterwards. So they really are with us in every aspect of the course. Then we said Dresser Rand, a Siemens business, came on as our partner in the half marathon this year, and boy,
we had a new app this year, Race Joy, that we were able to provide for the runners, that they were able to track if they carried their phone with them, and you wanted to track them, you could track them every step of the way along the course. Send them cheers. The sponsor for the app was Simmons Rockwell, and the runners appreciated it. The spectators, family members really appreciated being able to know where they were along the course. Wegmans is always a huge partner with helping us provide the finish line food, the hot chicken noodle soup. Here comes Holly in for the finish, looking really strong,
Would you say that Market Street is the most crowded for fans, or is that tough to say because Savona is obviously so crowded and elsewhere?
Definitely, you want to see the runners finish.
Sure.
Market Street definitely has. We probably have double the number of runners that are spectating the day of the race at the finish line at any given time. That finish line area.
It's a crowd that moves around too,
Yes.
because people know what their runner's strategy is. So they may be out at the spectator viewing area to catch them at one place, then moving to the next one, then coming down to the finish line to catch them there as well. So it's sort of a constantly changing sea of people. We also have to give a huge shout out to our partners at the Corning Museum of Glass. They host the what we call the Runners Expo, where runners go and pick up their bibs and swag bag, and then we have vendors there as well. And then they also provide just beautiful Steuben discs for the male and female winners of the half and the fall.
Here's Brian Morrisman.
There he is,
Brian.
coming in. Looks a little happy.
All right. Addison native. Brian finished.
There's Sheila, and then he'll go right to his family.
That was the goal coming in, getting that 4th win, to be the most out of anybody that's ran this race. In a 35-year history, that's an accomplishment, Since this is really my hometown marathon with all my family and friends and my coworkers and everybody out here that can support me, it's great. I wanted the course record, so I'm kind of bummed at that, but, I'll live to see another day, another year, hopefully next year. But like I said, the key was coming here and getting that 4th win, in front of my family and friends, and for the race, it means a lot. So it was right around, I think, mile 19, 20-ish. It started to get really tough out there. Right where the bridge was out, right in there, it was like a little dirt gravel in there, and it was kind of slippery and stuff, so I kind of slowed down a little bit in there, and that kind of just, offset my pace. But other than that, I didn't give up. I kept fighting. I tried. I just come up a little short, but I'll be back.
And here comes Bailey Drews of Ithaca, New York, your female marathon leader.
You finished with 2 hours, 24 minutes, 49.14 seconds, and here, of course, is Bailey Drews. There we go, finishing with 2 hours, 47 minutes, 36.76 seconds. And this was her first time participating. She's a Cornell grad. Boy, she looked like she could do a double it.
She did. She really,
was great.
she didn't look like she broke a sweat the entire day.
She's happy, you can tell.
Yeah, she was. She was really happy. And her family was waiting for her too. I helped her over to the sideline to see them. Obviously your stop, your muscles and legs are a little wobbly. She was in great shape, but helped her, got her water and got her over to see her mom.
Yeah, I went out at a pace I didn't know if I could hold, and I was able to hold it for the most part better than I thought I'd be able to. Yeah, it was a great course, and just polite people running out there. I was working to get sorry. Me and another guy were working together for a while, and so that's really nice to see. I think what makes it unique is all the country roads versus a lot of marathons take place in the city or. So that was definitely nice, and it was fun to see all the people in the small towns sitting out in their yard cheering. You couldn't go a quarter mile without seeing people cheering, which was pretty great. And that made it a good course for me because I like just seeing families out and makes it a little more casual and less intense. And I thrive when it's not as intense. So.
Oh, there's the
These are
medals
the
that you're
half
talking about.
marathon. The green medals were our half marathon medals, and then sort of a coral color for the full. They were just absolutely beautiful.
And we call this section runner awards. The runners get their medal, they get their heat sheet, which space blanket, which keeps them warm, water, and move on through, get their picture taken in front of a banner with their medal on. You can see them smiling, and I finished. It's a unbelievable feeling of accomplishment.
You sure see a lot of smiles on people's faces.
Yes, a lot of happy customers, so to speak, that day.
A lot of people glad not to be running anymore.
Right, right.
This has been the Look Back, the 35th Annual Wineglass Marathon. I'd like to thank my guest, Chris Sharkey, the chairwoman of the Wineglass Marathon Board, and race director Sheila Sutton. Thanks again for being on the show, and we'll talk again next year.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.